morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shout out goes to Robert Anderson 6578. Robert Anderson was first to say first in one of my recent videos, and this one's a shout out, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here with a review of a really neat new airplane, folks. This is the Flybear FX9706. Now, a lot of folks out there, when you hear Flybear, you think of a two-channel differential thrust, beginners, cheap to fly aircraft. This is Flybear's first foray into hobby grade. Yeah, hobby grade aircraft. This is a 4-channel aircraft, folks. Real 4-channel aircraft. Brushless motors, powerful thing. Okay, let's talk about it. It's unusual that Flybear would make such a huge leap, you know, going from these little toy beginners learn to fly aircraft to this. But let's talk about it first. Okay, now, again, this is Flybear's first venture into a true 4-channel aircraft. It means we have throttle control, we got aileron control, we got elevator control, and rudder control. Each one powered, controlled via a servo. There's no differential thrust involved in this one. Now, it only weighs 200 grams. That means there's no registration required or remote ID required. That's a biggie, folks. Okay, that's what I look for these days in aircraft that I review. I'm looking for ones that are under that 250-gram weight limit so that we don't have to worry about registration or remote ID. And this fits the bill. Now, it's not a small aircraft. It's not a large aircraft. It has a 550 millimeter wingspan. That's about average for, that's about the size that you want if you want to avoid being bounced around by the wind. Okay, with these smaller aircraft like my little Warbirds, Ishin Warbird series, those can be bounced around quite a bit. But this size here tends to be a little more stable. Hopefully I'll be able to fly it a little more stable as compared to the Warbird series. Now, it is constructed of crash-resistant EPP foam, okay, throughout. That makes this, resistant to crashes. That's what we're looking for. Something that's not going to break too easily in a hard crash, and I'm hoping that this will survive my attempts to fly it. We'll see when we take it out into the fields. Now, I mentioned it has a brushless motor. Now, let's pop open the lid and show you that brushless motor underneath here. That's a 2205 brushless motor. This should improve durability of the aircraft, or durability of the aircraft's motor, but also give you increased power, enhanced power for this particular aircraft, because this aircraft can do something special, and we're going to talk about it here later, and it's going to need that extra power to do that, namely flying vertical. Okay, this can do vertical flights where it'll hover like a helicopter or like a drone. And we'll talk about that here shortly. Now, it is also powered by a 7.4 volt 2S 650 milliamp hour battery. This is a generic version battery. You can find these just about anywhere. The size on this one is 85, 25, 40. So, and it's 2S. So you should be able to find replacement batteries for this. Again, this is a generic battery, so it's not proprietary. You should be able to find it if you want more batteries. Now, I do recommend sticking with this size battery, because if you do go with a larger battery than the 650 milliamp hour, you're going to probably need to adjust center of gravity on the aircraft to keep it in stable flight. Again, this one, again, is, let's go over it again one more time, 85, 25, 40, 2S. So 7.4 volt. Now, this aircraft is available in ready to fly, which is the version I got, or bind and fly. Now, they're advertising this with Futaba SFHSS protocol. Now, I tried to bind this with my jumper in that protocol, and it would not bind. So I'm not sure that that's actually accurate. However, there is a port on the flight control board, a 3-prong 5-volt port, which you can use probably any SBUS receiver on that. So if you want to provide your own receiver, if you're going for the bind and fly version, which does not come with this transmitter, you want to use your own bind and fly or own transmitter, use a SBUS receiver. You should be able to fly this. Just plug it into that. Now, other things about it. Assembly. Bind and fly or the ready to fly. This requires quite a bit of assembly, folks. Coming out of the box, the wings are removed. You got to install the tail section, the rudder section. You got to install the push rods and onto the pitch horns, onto the horns. Your average beginner pilot who has never had any experience before with an aircraft is going to have problems installing this, okay? You're going to need to install them and adjust them for center position. Your average beginner does not know how to do that, okay? They're going to have to research how to do that. So I would not, that's why I'm not recommending this particular aircraft for beginner pilots, unless you have somebody who has some experience that can help you construct this, okay, to build this out of the box. Even with experience, this took me quite a while to get this all set up and all smoothed out, all the surfaces smoothed out. It wasn't easy to assemble, is what I'm saying. So keep that in mind, okay. Okay, next thing about it, let's talk about the transmitter. Again, I mentioned it's available bind and fly, where you provide your own transmitter, or ready to fly with this transmitter. Now, this transmitter supposedly gives this aircraft 300 meters of range. Okay, it's available supposedly in mode 2 and mode 1. However, Banggood, the sponsor that sent me this particular model, only is selling them right now in mode 2. If you want mode 1, you're going to probably need to go to one of those other Chinese websites and look for it. So, because right now Banggood does not have the mode 1 is the way it was, what I understand. Now, I mentioned the different modes. This can do something special, folks. This can fly, again, like a drone, vertically on its nose. And to do that, let's talk about the modes, actually. There's 3 modes that this can fly in. There's 6G, which is fully stabilized for beginners to learn to fly, where it can't exceed a certain pitch. It'll try to minimize, if you try to loop it, it's just not going to happen. Or if you try to pitch it straight down, it's not going to happen. It's going to have a angle limitation in pitch and also in roll, okay, when you're in 6G mode. And if you get into trouble, say you get into extreme problems, just let go of the sticks, and this will automatically level itself and right itself for those beginner pilots in 6G mode. Now, there is a 3D mode, and you activate it by bringing the switch from the full up to the center position. 3D mode gets rid of those angle restrictions. However, there's still some stabilization on the aircraft's control surfaces to prevent, say, it gets hit by a wind gust. It'll try to resist those wind gusts from pushing the aircraft around in the air. So, there is some stabilization in 3D mode is what I'm saying, folks. Now, with 3D mode, that turns off those angle restrictions so you can do loops and rolls and all those other stunts that you wish to do. Now, finally, there is a third position on this switch, which is all the way down, and that's called crane position or vertical mode, where this aircraft will pitch straight up and fly like a drone. Where you got throttle for going up and down, and you can yaw it right or left with the rudder, like so. Actually, let's try, when I take it out in the field, I'll describe what I'm doing here. But again, it should fly exactly like a drone with it in crane mode, like so. There is also dual rates. This switch here, okay, this is in up position, it's low rate, where the angles on the control surfaces are minimal. The angle movements are minimal, so you'll get gentle banks and gentle turns. But if you put it into dual rate or down to the down position, like so, that increases the angle on the control surfaces for more extreme banking and more extreme turns and up-down movement also on the control surfaces. So again, that's another reason why I recommend going with the ready-to-fly version. You won't have to set these position switches up on your jumper if you wish to use a jumper. It's all ready to go right out of the box. Now, this is powered by 4 AAA or AA batteries, like so. Those high-quality batteries that I got in there. And other buttons on this, we do have trim positions for throttle, for rudder, for pitch, and for roll. So you can trim this out if it is not quite steady when you take it out for a flight. But let's go over what comes in the box. First off, you get the instruction manuals, quick start guide, really basic, I gotta say, but I recommend reading it, along with the a little instruction manual on how to install those push-pull rods. Recommend reading it, but again, like I said, this requires some assembly, so beginner pilots probably might not be appropriate. This might not be appropriate for them because of that, the excessive assembly that's required. You also get a battery, that battery that I mentioned, along with the battery charger for it, a USB port charger that you can either charge through your computer ports. It's just small enough to actually be charged through a computer port. But I always recommend using a wall charger for more rapid charging of these type of batteries. Other things you get in the box. You get a spare propeller, which I need to mention something. I forgot to mention. The assembly of this propeller is assembled via there's a screw, not a screw, I'm sorry, a nut that you need to attach, along with a screw to attach the nose cone on here. In the instructions, they only mention attaching this using the nose cone. They forgot to even mention putting that nut on to the front face of this propeller to hold the propeller in place. So keep in mind, you need a nut and the screw to assemble that. And to put that screw in, by the way, you're going to need this tiny little Allen wrench, okay? That's for assembly or for attaching the screw into the nose cone. Other things you get is this screwdriver. Now this is entirely assembled via screws. Tiny little screws are holding everything into place. So keep that in mind. That's what the little screwdriver is for on the assembly. And finally, you get this extra propeller. And I hope this is going to be sufficient for the flights when I take it out into the field. This extra propeller in case I break it. So now let's take it out into the field and see how it flies. Hope you enjoy this flight, folks. Good afternoon, Quadcopter 101 here, and welcome to the flight of the FX9706. Now, I've had this airplane since December, and it's February now. I have not been able to fly it, folks. The weather has been really bad here in Erie, PA. But today the sun has come out, although it's quite a breezy day. But we're going to see how this airplane performs on a breezy day, on a sunny, breezy day. Okay, I already have it bound to the controller, folks. And all we need to do, actually, to take off is to arm the motors. Wait a minute, this does not look fully closed. Hold on. Yeah, I guess it is fully closed. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, well, anyways, the wind's coming in my face right now, and I'm guessing it's about 8 miles per hour or so, or better. But arming the motors, motor is armed, and all switches are up, so all we need to do is throttle up, and away we go. Okay, I'm in low rate right now. We're going to see how this flies in low rate. First off, very docile. Very docile in low rate. Very low bank angle. I got to say that right now. It's riding on the rudder right now. It's mostly rudder turns, it appears to be, with this. Okay, applying both rudder and aileron. It turns quite readily, as you can see there. Let's go to higher rate. Higher rate. Ah, much stronger bank angle. Let's see if I can bring it in close. Coming down, lower. Lower, lower, lower. I want to bring it in close so you all can see it. Trying to do circles around my position here. And it does it quite readily. Very smooth flyer, I gotta say. I'm trying that. See what type of maximum climb we get out of this lot. It's actually a nice flyer. Okay, let's come down again one more time, come in close. On this beautiful day here with a bit of a wind. And go to crane mode. Now crane mode, go back to 3D mode. 6G, I mean, 6G. I went in crane mode, folks. Don't try that on a windy day. It obviously did not like that wind. What the heck's that airplane over there? It's a strange looking plane. But I gotta focus on this airplane here. What is that? Oh, never mind. So coming back in low rate. Or high rate. Let's bring it in close again so you can see it again one more time. I'm just gonna come in slow. Wind's at its back right now. It's being pushed downwind. Turning it into the wind. Come down lower. Neat airplane. So FX is this one's actually quite nice. Very nice flyer. Let's go into low rate and 3D mode. Come back here.
I lost my orientation there. Still in low rate. You know, way over there, folks. I didn't want to do that. Going back up higher again. Back to 3D. Trying to fly it up there in 3D. Just staying up high. Looping it. Coming around. And back to 6G. Where are you? Because I lost you. Okay, a little bit of 3D flight here in the wind. I'm going back to high rate. Now, I brought my Multiprotocol with me today. When this battery wears out, we're going to try this flight. What's going on here? We're going to try flying this with the Multiprotocol transmitter following this flight. Let's bring you closer here. Lowering throttle, lowering throttle. Lowering throttle. And going around again. I like to do circles around my position if I can. Wow, is this a, look at that thing yanking bank. Wonderful plane, actually. So yeah, I kind of like this FX. Where did you guys learn to do this? You know, I was at FX, when you mentioned Flybear, again, I immediately think of the old Flybear 2-channel airplanes flying with 2 little brushed motors, probably 7mm brushed motors. This thing is a big leap for FX to be doing. And actually, they didn't do too bad a job with this airplane. So, coming around again. I'm still in high rate. Wow. And let me do that. Did you see that, folks? And I'm in 6G mode. But let's do that again. See if I can do that again. Weird loop. Let me loop it. That's weird. Or I wouldn't have expected to be able to do that again. Let's see if we can do that again. Throttle it up. No, I won't loop that time. And let's cut the throttle and see how it glides. Well, it don't glide very well, but it comes down rapidly. I'm going downwind here. Weird flying airplane. This can do, okay, am I in high rate? Yeah, I am. There we go. This can do hard turns because of those large control surfaces on this airplane. Especially that rudder. That rudder really kicks in. Look at that thing. You can do loops even in 6G mode sometimes. If you go into the wind, it appears. Let me try that again. Going into the wind. See, like that. Rollovers. But wonderful plane. Okay. So for beginners, I don't know. Intermediates would love this. Beginners, again, I would start with something a little bit slower than this. This is a little bit too quick for beginners. Additionally, that construction of this would be confusing for most beginner pilots if you're unfamiliar how an airplane works. That wind's picking up here again, but it's fighting it. It's starting to get a little bit weak too. I'm going to call it quits here, folks. Gotta call quits there. That's the battery gets weak. I don't think it has a low battery cutoff. You just notice when the battery weakens out like that. It's time to call quits. Okay, we're gonna swap batteries here, and I brought my T-Light, jumper T-Light, and we'll try this with the jumper T-Light. See if we can fly with a Multiprotocol controller. So hold on, folks. Okay, this is my jumper T-Light. Now to bind this to that aircraft, I had to download the latest version of the Multiprotocol protocols available from Pascal. I'll include a link below on where to download it and how to upload it to your particular Multiprotocol transmitter. It's really not hard, folks. More or less, all you do is there's a graphic GUI, a GUI interface that you enter the type of Multiprotocol transmitter you got into it, and it tells you which file to download. You just download that file onto an SD card, a micro SD card, plug it into your Multiprotocol, and turn it on, and it should automatically update. Okay, let me make sure all the switches are set, and got it set. Arming the motor. Motor is armed. Checking the surfaces, down, up, left bank, right bank. That looks right. Okay, we should be good to go. So let's see if this flies with a jumper T-Light. And boy, that one's picking up big time. So good luck to me. Can I turn it? Yes, I can. So yeah, it's work. I'm in low rate right now. Let's go back to high rate. Now the way I got this set up, the switches, channel 5 is your rates button for your rates mode. And you have to set that up 0 to 100 for rates on channel 5. And channel 6 is your flight modes. You know, the 3D, 6G, or 6G, 3D, and crane mode. And those are 100 for 6G, 0 for 3D, and minus 100 for crane mode. In fact, let's try that crane mode real quick. There it is, up in crane mode, back to 3D mode, or 6G mode. But yeah, I can't fly crane mode today, unfortunately, folks. There's too much wind. But I'm showing you that I'm flying with the jumper. Bang, bang, bang. Or rudder, rudder, rudder. Can I loop it? Nope. Okay, while I'm up there, let's go back to low rate. Turning, turning, turning. Going into the wind. And then switching to 3D. Oh, that one's hitting it too hard. Going back to 3D. Never mind, folks. Too much wind here today. But that's the cool thing about these stabilized aircraft. In their 6G mode, they don't care about the wind. Although this does have some stabilization for wind, it's a little bit too gusty right now for me. Actually, for me. I guess a lot of other pilots wouldn't be a problem, but for me it is. I'm more of a drone pilot, folks. I gotta admit. Although I fly airplanes, as you can see here. But I crash them a lot. Let's put it that way. But it's doing a good job. Okay, I'm in, am I in high rate? In high rate now. Let's come down to low again, do a couple passes by at real low and high rate. Zoom, I better get out of the way. I was going, which way am I going? Oh no. Okay, so yeah, the company FX says this uses SFHSS protocol. I think they really mean, you know, you need an SBUS receiver that you can plug in there. If you want to use your own receiver, you can plug it in there. Boy, that one's picking up. But keep in mind, yeah, you can use the FX protocol, which is FX9630. Thank you, Pascal, for doing that. By the way, folks, those of you who use this Multiprotocol transmitter and you download those new protocols, You should donate to Pascal. Give him a few bucks there for the work. He's done a lot of work for the community, I gotta say. The only reason I found out that this was available is there's another site you should check out, is RC Groups. You know, some of the folks there mentioned that protocol works with this airplane, and I tried it, and sure enough, it does, as you can see here. Nice plane, being buffeted by the wind. Oh, I wanted to try that crane mode, fly it like a drone, but that is just a gee whiz feature, folks. You know, what do you really need crane mode for? Maybe in a gym you can play around with it, you know, where there's no wind at all. But yeah, with these other airplanes that I've flown, if there's any wind, it gets to be real difficult to fly them in crane mode. I'll try it one more time, except I'll go up high and upwind. Where's the wind coming from? That direction there, right? Crane mode. There it is, up in the air, straight up in the air, and going back to 3 or 6G. But yeah, that's just a gee whiz mode. Okay, yeah, this is definitely flying with the Multiprotocol. I just wanted to demonstrate that. That was cool. And I was able to do that in 6G. But coming down, coming down. Nice plane. Just gliding it. Well, with a little power. Whoa. Okay, that battery's getting weak. It's an old battery too. I'm gonna have to land it, folks. Again, I got that battery from my original A560, which I flew 3-4 years ago, so that battery's old. But I did demonstrate, yes, it is possible to fly with the Multiprotocol. Again, you will need to download the latest version of the protocols. I think it's 1.33333, something like that. Just look for the FX9630 protocol, and that's what you need to connect to this particular aircraft. So, hope you enjoyed this flight of the FX9706. Very neat airplane. I like it. So, it's Quadcopter 101. Signing out. Okay, I wanted to demonstrate crane mode before I finish. The wind isn't really very much here near my home, so I'm putting it into crane mode right now. Switch down all the way. Turn on the throttle. That is crane mode, folks. Okay. Oh, actually, it's kind of screwy because it doesn't really fly like a drone because the control of the ailerons are to do yaw. In other words, go like this, you have to use the ailerons, and that's kind of asswards to what you do with the drone, where you use the rudder. Okay, see the rudder control and the aileron control, so that confuses the heck out of me when I try to fly it in crane mode. But it can do such as you saw there. Let's give it one more shot. Let me center those. So that is crane mode. Bring it back over here, and I'm going to drop it right there. So I just wanted to demonstrate crane mode, that it actually can indeed fly vertically like that. So hope you enjoyed that flight. That's Quadcopter 101 signing out.
Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.